So I'm here with Team WCW,
Well,
which is
we have organized our platform under 4 key ideas: approachability, accountability, advocacy, and advancement. The idea is basically that we think the AMS is ready for a change. We want to start looking externally to Queens as a whole community and trying to work for students that might not necessarily have traditionally been involved with the AMS. So we want to improve upon the Queens experience by becoming more approachable, by becoming more accountable, and for advocating about specific issues like diversity, etc. And we also want to advance the initiatives that the AMS is currently doing well, and institutionalize that as well.
so what's going to be your plan for accountability? Because a lot of the times we see the AMS come in with a lot of promises and they plan for big change, they plan for sweeping reforms, and we the students don't usually see much. So how are we going to make sure that you guys, if you win, how are you going to be held accountable so that you keep all the promises that you make?
I think that really comes down to when we started actually planning for what we were going to do. We really talked to a lot of people, got a lot of sources, and kind of talked to them about the feasibility of the ideas that we were actually coming up with to make sure beforehand if this is something we can actually go forward with. So I think that's really going to help make these ideas possible.
We also have concrete mechanisms in place to ensure that we're looking at examining how we do our hiring and recruitment. We think that a lot of the AMS initiatives, a lot of the people that we have that are interested in them are often, a smaller group of people kind of within the Queens community. So we have plans to increase our recruitment. We want to hire a deputy that would be specifically responsible for that. We're also looking at our hiring procedures and policies. We want to give out, concrete job descriptions when we're doing our hiring, and give hiring rubrics, et cetera, so people can have a good idea of what it is that they're looking for, because a lot of the times people just don't even know how or what to get involved in. And then we also want to revisit how we do our evaluations of everyone from the executive down, I guess. So I think that we have a lot of plans to ensure that we remain accountable, and the ideas that we have chosen to do. We're not promising a new service, or we're not promising restructuring the corporate side of the AMS, which has been done in not so long ago, and that can actually be really, really hurtful because it gets things kind of off track. We're not promising a new campus event or committee. We're just trying to look at what we have, improve upon it, ensure that the things that we do right now have enough funding, those kinds of things here.
Okay. So this year, Queen's campus was kind of rocked by a very grave incident of racism. If you guys were the reigning, I guess, if you were empowered this year, what would you have done?
Well, underneath advocacy, we've definitely touched upon this issue. Speaking specifically to myself as a person of color on campus, I think it's something important that we have to reach out to the members of our community and make us feel comfortable. So in terms of what WCW proposes is that we want to launch early outreach programs, focusing specifically upon high school students who are achieving who are within great academic standing, and reach out to them and tell them, Queens is a viable option for you. And in doing so, we believe that will encourage them to kind of, explore and see what exists there for them at Queens. But it's not only about just reaching out to them. We also want to make sure that they stay here and that they feel comfortable here. And the ways that we're also advocating for that is that we've talked to the Human Rights Office, and we understand that right now they're kind of they're very strapped in terms of their resources. So we want to advocate for more funding and also advocate for a better place. I'm not sure if you know, Robin, where they are located right now, but they're basically in an enclave between Dunning and Macquarie. So that's not very conducive to human rights issues because it's semi-public where anybody can walk through there. So we want to advocate for a place that is suitable for them. And sorry, the third thing that we're also pushing towards is that we want a diversification of our education system here. So that's basically, we want to implement a certificate program that deals with ethnic and racial diversity. And what this program will do is that Queen's students will be able to take it in conjunction with their current degrees that they're taking. And I believe that this speaks volumes, because it will definitely speak out to the students and administration, saying that we're listening to the concerns that are happening right here, and then that the administration is taking active steps towards educating the students within our campus, and also changing the perspective and changing the image that Queens currently holds. So,
Yeah, absolutely. There are a lot of initiatives on campus that are student-driven surrounding this issue, happening within and outside the AMS, but we've just seen a real gap where the administration is concerned. You see the rally that was organized the other day, that was faculty-driven, but you just see a real gap. The administration, hasn't been willing to step up. And, when we look at the issue, too, of the Arabic language course that was brought to University Senate that they, chose not to do, the students are saying this is what we want, but the administration has, chosen to ignore them. So as part of our platform, we want to advocate for the administration to work to diversify our education, because, the students, we can take it really far, but there is a point where, we need the administration to get on board.